All right, people, welcome back to Unit 9, topic 9.3. This is technological advances where there are debates about the environment after 1900. So this is a major focus on human interaction and human influence on the environment. Very important. All right, so what are you going to learn? Well, we need you to explain the causes and effects of environmental changes in the period from 1900 to the present. And the skill that we're going to go over is document analysis and argumentation through thesis construction, right? All right. So, in explaining the causes and effects of environmental changes in the period from 1900 to the present, obviously the thematic focus is going to be humans and the environment, their interaction with, right, and impact on. Zooming in more specifically, we're talking about these historical developments in which human activity contributed to deforestation, desertification, a decline in air quality, increased consumption of the world's supply of fresh water, which has led to conflict. So what's very, very important to understand is that humans competed over these and other resources more intensely than ever before, and those are some of the effects. So the release of greenhouse gases and pollutants into the atmosphere contributed to debates about the nature and the causes of climate change, which is one of the top issues in the world today. All right, so what are some of the major causes? Well, look, global economic competition over natural resources, right? You can trace this all the way back to the development of the trade routes and the development of mercantilism, which led to free trade, which led to Adam Smith's theory of the wealth of nations and the evolution of capitalism, imperialism, colonialism, right? Human competition over natural resources more intensely than ever before. And to once again identify and solidify the effects of this are deforestation, desertification, a decline in air quality, as you can see in the image, an increase in consumption of the world's supply of fresh water. All right, what are the big changes in the 20th century that have to do with human interaction and impact on the natural world? Look, species extinction, increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the depletion of groundwater reserves, right, under the ground, enlargement of deserts, dead zones in oceans, the transformation of the landscape as wetlands shrink and urban centers grow. Think of where we live. Look toward the Meadowlands, where Giant Stadium is, right? There's constant debates there. The Environmental Protection Agency, they want to develop more over there, but that's a natural wetland that's connected to the rest of the ecosystem. You have to solidify this idea in your head that the natural environment is complexly connected over long geographic distances. And when you hurt one environment, you're hurting them all. Over time, over geographic distance, the implications are staggering. Let's take a look at some deforestation statistics here. So deforestation in non-Brazilian Amazon countries from 2004 to 2012, we see a direct increase, all right? And we can see that the numbers are rising. And this is very problematic with the oxygen, CO2 levels in our current atmosphere, all right? So Brazil sees the worst deforestation in over a decade. So in 2005, it was pretty bad. And it started to get better, but by 2015, it started to get worse again, and it continues in that trend, okay? And there are political and economic implications that interconnect countries and foreign and domestic policy, all right, over vast geographical distances. Desertification, what does that mean? It's a funny word, Mr. D. It's a relatively dry land region. It becomes increasingly arid, even more dry, typically losing its bodies of water as well as vegetation and wildlife. So any body of water that's in a desert, it would dry up, or under the ground, the groundwater where you would sink wells and extract that water, they dry up as well. it causes conflict. So it's caused by a variety of factors, such as climate change and human activities. It's a significant global and ecological and environmental problem on planet Earth. And this is what we're talking about. So in red, these are the major areas of concern. So you look in the Middle East, you look in parts of Eastern Europe, parts of Northwestern Africa, parts of Australia, some parts of South America. Look at the Western United States. I know you've read about the wildfires. Well, this is what happened when land becomes so dry over such a long period of time. That's one effect that can happen. Now, those wildfires spread and reach into the areas of developed first world nation, like in California, even wealthy, rich people. And now those fires wipe out those areas. But in the United States, those individuals have the economic resiliency, life insurance, homeowners insurance, fire insurance, in which they can bounce back from that. But if you look in areas like the Middle East, look at the economic implications of areas in Northwestern Africa and the Middle East, where people do not have that economic stability, and how it can affect urban and rural areas and the lives of people. All right, so there's implications abound. Look at the fresh water availability. This is another one. So the darker blue you get, the more the fresh water is available, and the more into the yellow and orange regions, the more that you see scarcity. And now, once again, if you took maps over the past few days and you overlap these maps of disease-ridden areas, areas of poverty, parasitic infection, areas where there is a lack of groundwater, deforestation, and these problems seem to overlap each other in layers over similar geographic locations. And the implications are social, economic, political, environmental, and cultural. All right, it's very important you're able to make these connections on these geographic locations over a variety of ways that humans have interacted with the environment in ways that they benefit and they suffer. Look at the conflicts over water by decade. From 1950, it seems that the conflicts are almost inconsequential. Look in 2010. We're talking about interregional. We're talking about conflicts between different groups within a country or within a region, and conflicts between countries internationally over water. And it's continually increasing. When I was your age, the idea was laughable that we would pay over $2 for a small bottle of water. And now you can pay up to $5, $6, $7 for a small bottle of water. The value of water is dramatically increasing on planet Earth. Okay? Imagine walking 5 miles a day just to fill up a jug of water and walking 5 miles back. That takes up a substantial portion of your day, in which you would work a job to try to pay your bills and sustain some type of family in a safe way. So in first world countries, it's not even a problem, but in developing and third world countries, it's a major, major issue. Species extinction. That's another issue that's occurred. And you can see some of the species that have completely gone extinct over the past 100 years. And what we see since the year 1500, it's almost exponential. It's a dramatic increase with certain animals, right? Animals that have always had their natural habitat near developing urban areas are pushed out, in which they adapt or die, right? And in other areas, animals have adapted, but this is a major, major issue, right? And they're predicting a number of species that will be extinct over the next 50 years. So that's also a major, major issue. All right, we're gonna have a lot of time today. Let's take a look at some document analysis and practice. Everybody ready? Evaluate the success of human interaction with the global environment after 1900. 15 minutes. Soaps and group, thesis, go. Here we go. Here's the way I reason this. I looked at case study 1 on slide 42, and I said that was a success because it was greater access to safe drinking water. How can I prove that? The percentage went from 15 to 55%. Okay, so I will use that direct evidence. That is a direct data-based piece of evidence that shows an increase. If you want to take it a step further, you can say, but that's only a little over half the population. The rest of the population still did not, right? You can take it there, right? I will also show limits to this document because this is improving access to safe water in Guinea. What about the rest of planet Earth? This is very region specific. So I'll show limits to this. It's a success, but it's a region specific success. Go to slide 43. 43, I say that this is a success, greater air quality management in Chile, right? Definitely the evidence there reflects greater air quality management. It's another success. But I particularly chose to show limits to this document as well, that it's a greater air quality management in one region-specific area, Chile, okay? So it's good, it's just a success, but it's in Chile. Go to slide 44. Again, I look at this. The system of integrated pest management has reduced pesticide in Brazil by 80% and 90% in China, in a province in China, a very specific region, specific province in China, and in a region of India. Not all of Brazil, not all of China, not all of India, region specific to those countries. So that's a success, but there's limits because it's region specific. All right. They kind of imply that like this is like this overwhelming positive thing that's blanketed these vast regions. Now it's very region specific. So I put limits on these documents. You don't have to. That doesn't have to be your argument. I put limits on this document. Now look at this. Slide 45. Go there. I said slide 45 is a failure because it reflects all the negative impacts of climate change. It reflects all the negative impact of human interaction with the environment, right? Specifically climate change. And what is climate change? Climate change is not region specific. Climate change is global. Climate change blankets planet Earth. It affects everybody and every living thing and the natural environment. So case study 1, 2, and 3 are successes, but there's limits to the success because they're very small regions of planet Earth. Case 4 is a failure, and that failure is far greater than those region-specific successes. That's my line of reasoning. Now, go to slide 46. How did I group them? So now looking at this, evaluate the successes of human interaction with the global environment after 1900. Case study 1 is success. Limits, it's region specific. Case study 2, success. Limits, region specific. Case study 3, it's a success, region specific. Case study 4, it's a failure and it's global reach. So the impact of case study 4 is far reaching. It weighs heavier to a higher degree of impact than these 3 small success stories. Take a look. Although there have been, we're on slide 46. Everybody should be on slide 46. Miguel, Reedy, Alexa should be on 46. Reedy and Alexa on slide 46. Although there have been many successful environmental achievements globally, the negative impact of climate change continues to alter the natural environment, which places living organisms at risk. The reason for this is because 1, 2, and 3 reveal greater access to drinking water in Guinea. Now I'm naming specific places. Improved air quality in Chile, specific, and reduced pesticide use in Brazil and parts of China and India, specific. While case study 4 reflects the overarching global issue of climate change, which continues to serve as the greatest global threat to the future of living organisms. I'm making that argument. It's not war, it's climate change. What to take away from all of this? Human impact on the environment, the biggest, deforestation, desertification, air and water pollution, global man-made climate change. Although we're starting to have a positive impact in region-specific areas, the threat of climate change continues to threaten the future of living organisms on planet Earth. And when you see the word evaluate in a prompt, identify a form of value for each document and then group them accordingly. And that's what I did. So I looked at document case study 1 and I said, wow, that's got some value, but that value is limited because it's only in one little place. And case study 2, that has some value, what they're doing in Chile, wonderful, but it's in one specific little place. Case study 3, same thing. It's in 3 specific little places. And then you look at case study 4 and you're like, oh, that's planet Earth. The negative impact on planet Earth. It's far more the value because the impact is negative, right? The value is more powerful of that document because the impact is negative, far-reaching negative. And that's where I get my line of reasoning and the thesis in 46. I really hope this helps.